welcome back to Wendy's Colouring, and today is February's finished pages. And yeah, it's been a bit of a funny month for me this month. I, for a good chunk of the time, didn't think I would be filming this video, if I'm really honest, because I just did not think I would get enough finished to make a video, but I've got a few finished, so I'm going to do it. It's been a bit of a strange one for me. Had my birthday, which was lovely. Thank you for all the good wishes on the whole video. Sorry I haven't had time to reply to with comments for a while. But yeah, had a nice birthday. My husband was doing some shelving in here for my birthday. So above my desk was pretty much just an empty wall. I had some of those, are they picture shelves? They're basically like that wide, that you can put picture frames on. I had little bottles like stickles and things on them, but obviously that's not a huge amount of use. So I wanted some proper shelves above my desk here, so I can put my pencil cases on, because they were literally driving me mad everywhere. But that did mean pretty much clearing half of this room out in order to make that happen. So that meant I was without a room, couldn't get to most of my stuff, couldn't record, had to take all my filming setup down, was kind of, whilst taking it down, thinking, can I remember how I put this together in the first place? I'm hoping this video has sound. We'll see. But yeah, as you can imagine, that has taken quite a chunk of this month. So taking the old stuff down off the wall, putting new stuff up, and then because we've taken the old stuff down, I kind of had to fix the bits where the old stuff had been, and that meant then I had to paint everywhere, and I'm not quite finished with the painting yet in here. The wall that all the shelving's on is finished, but kind of up to kind of this point at the side of my desk, because I wanted it so I could get my desk back in ASAP. Yeah, so I'm not quite finished painting yet. It's on the way, but not quite finished. Maybe I might do a mini tour kind of thing once I've finished painting, if I forget it finished painting. Because this is the fatal bit now, isn't it? That I've put everything back and now I can colour again. So now it's, shall I paint or colour? Will it get finished? Who knows? Anyway, I've got my shelves in, so yay! Then the reason my husband had rushed to do my shelving was because he was going in for an operation. We've been waiting for a very long time, and he's needed it for a very long time. So that's also been quite stressful, as you might imagine, and having to not look after him, because that's not quite how it was, but yeah, he's needed a lot of help with things and pain and all of that, and it's obviously been quite stressful. So it's been quite an odd month for me this month, and I'll be honest, I found finding the time, but also when I did have some time when he was having his operation and all of that, finding some concentration to do it, quite difficult this month. So it's been a bit of an odd month, really, one thing and another. But at least I've got my filming setup back on again, hopefully, if this is recording. Anyway, we'll go through this because I've talked a lot there. Moving on, let's move it out of the way so we can actually make a start. Didn't start with this first in the month, but this did arrive sometime during this crazy month. I can't even speak. Cozy Cuties by Jenoviya. Obviously, this is one of their penguin printed books. I really quite like this paper. I know there's a lot of and ahhing about the paper using more ink. It's gonna, isn't it? It's thicker paper, but you know, I like it being thicker paper because it does allow you to do just a little bit more with it. I think you could maybe even try some wet media on this. It's nice. I think it's nice paper. Penguin do a nice paper. I think this one feels a little bit thinner maybe than the Christmas one, but I didn't work in the Christmas one. One thing and another, I didn't get to that one, so I was determined to do one in this pretty much as soon as it arrived. And obviously it's my birthday month, so I did do the cake with the happy birthday, although why it's on Valentine's Day as well, who knows? I don't know. This was in markers, obviously, because why would you not? You can kind of see what I've done in markers there. I mix mine together, so I don't have a whole set of oh-hoo-hoos. I think I've got about 140-ish I've never actually counted them. I don't know. I've not got them all. I tend to use those, and then I add in my Copics. I think the purple was a Copic, because I don't think I've got a really soft kind of lavendery purple like that in my Ohuhus. I'm sure they do one, but I haven't got it. So yeah, bit of a mix of Ohuhus and Copics. Then I've used my Derwent Chromaflows over the top, because I think my prisms were at school at the time. So yeah, these were my Chromaflows. I actually quite like the Chromaflows on this paper. They work quite nicely. They're just a bit lacking in a really pale light purple colour. The purple colour that's in there is really, really pale, almost too pale. Needed another one in between, so I think I struggled a little bit just getting that to blend out when I wanted to. What else have I used? My Grabby acrylic markers and those Copic ones that I got in one of my scrawler boxes. So let me reach them. So those Grabby ones, the ones with the actual plasticky tip in, and I got these Acrea, are they? In one of my scrawler boxes a couple of months ago. They're also plastic tip, but obviously the pink was ideal for that, and it's literally right there next to me, so I couldn't be bothered getting the big Guangna set down off my shelf. So I just lived with those, and yeah, they've done quite nicely with it, haven't they? I think that was definitely the Grabby white that was in there. I do quite like that white, and those markers, they're lasting quite nicely actually. Sometimes they are a little bit dry when I first open them, but they don't take too much of kind of manipulating, and they start working again pretty well, so I'm quite pleased with those. But yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I think I'll do another one of this one next month, just because the paper's so nice. I can't, if I'm really honest, say I love the drawings in this book. They feel a little bit predictable, if you know what I mean. There's not a huge amount of surprises in here. It kind of feels like I've seen it all before that's in here. So as much as I like the paper in it, I can't say I'm finding the actual images that inspiring. Like I say, they feel just a little bit predictable, but I like it. The paper's nice, and I've enjoyed working on that one. But Cozy Cuties, the new one, I think these are in the supermarkets and all sorts, aren't they? At the moment, I think I did read somebody on some of the Facebook groups saying they were like £4 in Asda and things like that. So, yay for that. I think that's a cracking book for £4. Then this one I did earlier on in the month. It's the Space kids book by Hannah Carlson. I've got the Swedish version. I hadn't worked in this. This was you're off the top. An uncoloured book for me. But I enjoyed the Space page that I did in January so much. I found myself looking for another one, and I thought, I've not worked in this one, and I ummed and ahed about, some of the creatures and things in here, but I thought, no, do you know what, I want to do the Space page again. As you can see, I have used watercolour in this one. I think that's one of the reasons I picked this book up, because although it's kids book, the paper's still pretty good in it. I have got, as you can probably just about see already, I have got a little bit of wrinkling, but it's not too bad. Surprisingly, my metallic paints came through, but not my normal paints. The purple, as you can see, seems to be the guilty one, but this is going to be sky, so I might just acrylic pen that when it comes to it. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Watercolours wise, I use my Stuart Temple, I can never say it, watercolours first. So all of this is watercolour, and I think I did paint this in watercolour first, but then I thought, no, I want it metallic. The metallic watercolours are the metallic watercolours I've made myself. There's a video way back right at the beginning of my channel somewhere. If you want to see me making them, the filming will be terrible, the sound will be worse. But you'll at least get the gist of how I made them. But yeah, so quite a few layers. I tend to put that paint on, let it dry, see how it dries, see which bits I'm happy with, see which bits I want to work into. So the purple, hence why I think it's gone through, has had a second layer, because I wasn't quite happy how the two were merging at some points. So yeah, I think that's why it's gone through a little bit. Colour pencil wise, it's mixture. It's mainly Holbein. I'm telling a lie. Mainly Prismas, and then I did use a little bit of Holbein just in the kind of rocket tail. Markers. There's a little bit of Lightwish golden markers. I think I did just edge the stars that I'd painted the stars in, but obviously the paint doesn't completely cover the black line work, and I didn't want the black lines around the edge, so I think I did use the Lightwish marker just around the edges of the stars, but the stars are actually painted in one of my own paints, and it's one of the ones that I put glitter in, so hence why they're a little bit sparkly. Don't know how well it shows up. The Grabby White acrylic marker, that set that I literally just showed you, and then a mixture of paint pens. I have some cheap ones at school that are running out, and odd ones that I have here as well, but mainly these are my cheaper ones at school, and I just topped it up with a few bits that I wasn't quite happy, because the white in my cheap set at work is terrible and very see-through. But yeah, I've enjoyed this one. It was a good play page, this, I think, where you can just have a bit of a paint and you're not too fussed about how it goes. But yeah, my first page in this space book by Hannah Carlson. I would imagine the English version is still probably around somewhere, but that is the Spanish ISBN, Swedish ISBN if you want it. I don't know if this Swedish version is still around or not. I have not looked of late. What else have I done? I did do a page in this book, Microscope, on the land. This is one of my 25 in 25 books. So I started on just this simple page. Like I say, it's been a hard month, so I wanted something easy and fun. Why did I do a coloured pencil background? Who knows? I'm an idiot. I think I did start this in my Holbeins before I had to collapse my entire workspace. And then when I had no workspace, I had come across, I don't know, I've moved them to again, my little 36 set of Posca pencils. So this is pretty much just those Posca pencils. I think I did add in the little Holbein white that's in my little... Here, I'll show you rather than tell you. It's going to fall everywhere. In my little... I mainly keep whites here next to me, so as long as I could get to that somewhere, I can get whites. So I think I did use the Holbein white as well. But it is, other than that, just the Posca pencils. And I did quite enjoy just having that kind of limited selection of pencils. It's quite unusual for me to just stick with those. And they do work quite nicely on this paper in Rita Berman's book. I did quite enjoy it. Lightwish golden markers, as you can see, for the edging of my butterfly. It's a little bit thicker than I would normally like, but the line work was very thick around this butterfly, and I didn't want it black, so we went golden. That same Grabby White marker again, and some of my Guangna acrylic markers, but not many. It's mainly kind of the black work on these rainbow bits and some of the edging on the flowers, and obviously some of the whites. These spots are in black on the actual drawing, so I didn't want that too much to be shown. But yeah, like I say, it's not the most exciting of pages, is it? But I enjoyed it, and I quite like how it's finished. And that's my second page. I'm counting that as one, even though it's two, I suppose. So maybe it's my third page in this book, The World Under the Microscope by Rita Berman. I think this is possibly one of my favourite books by her. Not decided, but yeah, I am enjoying this, and it feels that they feel a bit more easy to pick up and put down maybe than some of her other books. Then back to, I've done quite a bit of Hannah Carlson this month, quite surprisingly, but yeah, I thought as I was working in the other one, I'll get this one out as well. So this one's Party. Again, obviously Hannah Carlson's, I think they were for some restaurant, weren't they? Some kids' book in a restaurant, and then she's re-released them. Mine again is the Swedish version. I did another cake for my birthday, because why not? It's less calories when you colour them. You don't have to eat them. Although having to eat them's no hardship, is it? This again is my own metallic watercolours. If I'm honest, this is a little bit patchier than, like, if you do it like that, you can see it's a little bit patchier than I would normally tolerate. in an ideal world, I'd have liked to have put a second coat on, but I just did not have time. These are just all Prismacolors, and then my Guangna markers, just to take off some of the black lines, particularly around the icing, where you don't really want black icing on a cake, do you? So yeah, it was a quick one really, but I did quite enjoy it. And it does look quite munchy, so it's all good, isn't it? But yeah, I think this is my second page in this. I think I've done another one somewhere. Oh yeah, I did that one. Oh, that one feels like it's faded a lot, doesn't it? Feels a lot softer. I think that was in Holbein's, and it actually has a bit of glitter on, which is a change for me. Did I put Holbein's? Is that still the label on it? King Art gel crayons and gelatos, that'll be in the background. Who knew? Part 8 by Hannah Carlson. Then this book I've had in my plans for quite a while. I ordered the other book by Yoshi Kondo, but they didn't have it from the Japanese supplier that I was buying it from. They said they had it in stock, but then when I ordered it they didn't, so they sent me this one instead. I quite like it. It's not a book I would have probably ordered before myself, but I do like the paper in it, and I do like the style of drawing. It's Yoshi Kondo, Beautiful World of the Bible. I'm not sure I'll do all of it, but I have enjoyed doing this little page that felt appropriate for February, and it was reasonably simple to do. I feel like I've kind of had a pink, red, orange, yellow month. Nearly every page I've got is pink, red, orange, yellow. Sorry, I don't know why. It's completely without realising it. This, again, the only pencils I could get to were my Posca pencils. So, yeah, all the colour pencil work is just that set of 36 Posca. Again, they work really nicely on here. They're quite nice pencils to use. I kind of wish they'd do a massive set of them, really. I would get them. 150 set of them. They wouldn't be cheap, would they? But I think they'd be a nice pencil. The pink is the Artex markers. Have I got one handy? I'm going to tip them all. These ones that are living on my little shelf that are there in front of me. Ignore all the whites on top. So it's the pink set out of that, because I know they dry really quite matte, and they don't tend to leave tide marks, if you know what I mean. You can kind of fill in a background, and it all looks nice and even. And this is literally one coat of it. I do love them for that. They are great for a background like that. If you did that with a lot of markers, it'd be liney, the paint would be a bit uneven, it's like they don't come out of the pen exactly mixed the same. But give those a shake and use them, and you can see it's just a lovely coat. There's nowhere that you're like, it's a bit odd there though, isn't it? They work nicely on it. And Hoo Hoo glitter markers, gold, just a little bit in this kind of oh dear, I can't even think what I'm trying to say now. My mind's just like, no, banner, I think was what I was trying to say. But yeah, just a little bit in there. They are lovely, those Hoo Hoo glitter markers. I am glad I bought those. They have a very nice shine, and a little bit coming off, but not much. Slight little glitter off, but yeah, I quite enjoyed it. There are some nice pages in this book. The paper in it is lovely. But yeah, I can't see myself doing that, let's be quite honest. I quite like this side, I'm not so sure about there. But yeah, they do have little quotes, and obviously it's Bible-y scenes, but this keeps reminding me of an artist's work, and I can't remember his name. It does it all in paper cuts rather than drawn. He actually physically cuts it all out of a piece of paper. I think it's Ryan somebody, and I can't remember his name, but anyway, I digress. I don't know how much more of it I will do, but this I quite fancy doing. But it is a nice book. But yeah, it was from Amazon Japan. If you're interested, because it is quite a rare book, the ISBN is there. I always forget what it's called. I've got to look back. Yoshi Kondo, Beautiful World of the Bible. Then, what else? Unsurprisingly, Hannah Carlson. So this, again, even though it does not want to stay on, is one of my 25 in 25 books that I was going to try and do a little bit more in. I had a whip in here that I hadn't realised I'd had a whip. Oh, this was one of my very early books into my collection, and I think when I was starting to buy Hannah Carlson, I saw these artist editions and thought, oh yeah, I'd rather have the artist edition than the normal one. What I hadn't realised was that this is just a selection out of the Daydreams book. It's not all of the Daydreams book. So then obviously I got the Daydreams book and I've worked in that one rather than this, but I had started on this page early in my colouring journey. These books have like, it's very hard to show really, but it's like a cardstock. They're not easy to get hold of now, unfortunately. If you see them for a reasonable price, grab one, because the paper is, well, like I say, it's a card. It's quite thick card. It's not paper, but they do, as you can see, take wet media exceptionally well, because it does not really warp. It slightly bends the card a little bit, but it soon flattens back off again. It's really lovely in that respect. So I'd started these back in the day. Let me get them, because they're, again, probably rare. Hold on. Rare as in old and cheap, not rare as in collectible. So I started these early on with these things. I think you can sometimes, I do sometimes see them occasionally. They're little Do Crafts Artiste watercolour dual tip pens. So they have a tiny brush on one side and a different colour fine tip thing, pen colour, I don't know, felt tip pen thing on the other. They're only little thin pens. They're not, they're kind of like, in fact, let me grab one, like a gel pen thickness of them. So there's not a huge amount of ink on them. But all I did with them was literally use them on a palette. So I do it on my Caran d'Ache palette, pick it up with a wet brush and use it like it's a watercolour. Paint, it's more like you're painting with ink really, but that's how this kind of background is so kind of multicoloured and changing. I have kind of, particularly at the top here, ruined the surface of the page because I think I've worked into it too much when it was too wet. I'd done all the background up to here and then had stopped. I don't know why I'd done that. So I had to try and blend. I just did a green in and I wasn't sure how well they'd blend together, being obviously the bit I was working on was wet and that was long since dry, years and years dry. But it seems to have gone together okay. You kind of can't see the join where I've added in the green. Fortunately I'd still kept them in a drawer, so it was at least the same kind of strength of ink, and I think that helped a little bit. So I did that in the background. Pencils was my Holbeins. I've used Hoohoo glitter markers, I think in some of the little details around the dragonfly's body and some of this kind of patterny sections. Acrylic pens, I would imagine it's probably my Grangnar, I haven't written it down. Artex silver gel pen. Yeah, they sent me a really nice silver gel pen. Is it in here? Ooh, can't get hold of it. It's in the tray and it will not come out. Then this one. It was in the bottom. I think it might have even been in the bottom of the box when they came. Hadn't realised for ages. It was only as I was chucking the box away. I was like, what's that in there? Oh. And I'm glad I didn't, because they're actually quite nice gel pens. But gel impact pen. But anyway, use that. And Renaissance watercolour paint on, as you can see, the lovely wings. So I coloured the wings first, so if you can kind of, yeah, there you go, if you get it so that you can't see the watercolour paint, it's got like a graduated effect with the colour, with the Holbeins first, and then once I've done that, then I've put the paint over. So depending what light you get, sometimes you see the paint, sometimes you see the coloured pencil graduation and that silver gel pen over the line work on my little dragonfly. I enjoyed working on that though, I can't lie. And the fact the background was nearly all done did make life a lot easier, and I could just concentrate on enjoying this little bit. But yeah, I've quite enjoyed it, and I think trying to get in the habit of working in these a bit more. I think I have the summer book in this, and I have the portraits one that was a second-hand buy that I've not worked in for ages. So I do quite fancy doing that big owl in here. Where's it just gone? That one. Because again, got quite great paper, so can use the watercolour paints a bit more in it, play about with the backgrounds a bit more. So yeah, I did enjoy working in Daydreams, an artist edition. That is driving me mad. And then finally, this one I've been wanting to work in for a long time. Scott finally got here. I bought this second hand of Scott. Jenoviya, I am not pronouncing her name, sorry for the glare. That is her name. This, you can get an Amazon version of this book, but you can't get this version that I'm working in. I think this was some kind of crowdfund arrangement for this first copy of it, and then it's gone on to Amazon print. But I've been wanting to work in this book for a while, but because it's a big square, I chickened out for quite a while. This did take me quite a long time, and again my metallics have been out, as you can tell. I felt like she needed some kind of regally background going on. So this is in my Holbeins. I'm using my Holbeins a lot at the moment. Her wasn't Holbeins though, because they're not great for her. So her is a mixture of Lightwish and Light Fast. It's too many light things. Light Fast and Luminance pencils for all her hair. Her hair has driven me mad. I like her when it's finished, but it's a bit tedious to do, isn't it? I know there are some colourists that absolutely love just doing hair. It's not for me. I suppose because it's just one colour. I maybe, well, not one colour, but you know what I mean. You're basically just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. And obviously this was all these curls, as lovely as they look, have driven me daft in the process of doing them. Her skin is way too light. Do not ask me why I've done her skin this light. I think I just wasn't really thinking about what I was doing, and I'd started with the skin before I'd done anything else, because if I'm doing a portrait, I do tend to do the skin first, I suppose, to get it out of the way with, so I'm happy with it. And then I did the skin and then started work on this and thought, oh, I should have done the skin darker. But I'd done the skin with Holbeins, and I never do skin with Holbeins normally, never. And they get to a point where you can't really work over them anymore, and in some areas I was already at that point with it, so I thought, well, I'm going to have to go with it. She's going to have that skin now because I can't change it. I don't know why I didn't think about it before I even started, but it is what it is, isn't it? Unfortunately, she's a bit too pale, bless her, but it's the way of it. What else did I use? So all those pencils. There's quite a bit of marker pen in here, so I've used those grabbies that I just showed. My Guangna Big Set 168s. The watercolour paint is an Archie's watercolour paint off Etsy. I think I did buy a couple of those grab bags that they were selling, and there was a half pan gold that wasn't quite full, but it still had a lot of paint in, and I think that is there. This has a lot of coats of this gold on. It has a coat first on the paper of my Artex Simtap paint pen first, so all underneath this gold is completely acrylic base first, and then it has about 3 layers of gold because it was drying a bit patchy, and again, it's difficult to catch. There are little sections, like there's a little bit there that's still a little bit patchy, but as you can see, the paper is starting to have a bit of an argument with the watercolour, so I didn't dare do any more with it, but I'm pretty happy. The gold's really rich, isn't it? And it's the kind of the contrast I wanted. There's a bit of sparkling Signo gold gel pen in some of the details, and I did also use the grabby acrylic gold in some sections because I was finding I'd put the sparkling on and I'm still seeing a bit of the black, so I was using that acrylic marker pen as well as the Signo kind of together. I'd do a little bit with the Signo and a bit more, I'm not happy with that bit, I'll do that with the acrylic, and kind of layering those two together, and a little bit of the Ohuhu glitter markers. I think those little sections there, I should have shaded them as though they were gems, but I just wanted to use the acrylic marker. Sometimes you just got to have a bit of fun, haven't you? But yeah, I'm delighted to have finally got a page finished in here, and I'm pretty happy with it. The hair, there's still bits that I'm kind of, oh, could do with another layer. These bits could do with another little layer, but I just ran out of time and ran out of patience. So I'm like, no, she's keeping her hair as it is. That's how it's staying. But yes, I finally started in this lovely book. And I do like that. And there's plenty more to do in here that does appeal. I do like some ladies with flowers and dresses and leafy things, and it's right up my street. And I feel a bit happier now that the Holbeins have worked nicely in it. And I've got away with a bit of watercolour. And it's not bled through, even more importantly. It's a little bit, it's hard to show really, but it's a little bit wrinkly in sections. But that's just a background anyway, so I'm probably going to do the same and just acrylic marker the background and maybe put a bit of some more watercolour on, so it might get worse before it gets better. I'm not quite sure why they've got these little girls on. Like this one has one of the little girls in the corner. Like when I've done all that, I kind of left her and I was like, oh, I'll have to do her now to match. Some of them have the little girl, some of them don't. Like she's got another one down there, hasn't she? But anyway, and that was my last one for this month. Amazingly, that I got any done. Sorry for the glare. It's glowing quite bad, isn't it? I'll hold it there for a second. But yes, thank you very much for watching. I hope I've not whittled on for too long and bored you all. I hope you're all doing well, and I shall see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.